They're showing me 5 minutes to take questions, so anybody? Yes?
All of the things that you say you need are wonderful things. How will we pay for them?
Well, you know what? We are paying. I mean, we're paying for not having a first-class transportation system by not experiencing real job growth. We're paying for not being involved in economic development by ranking dead last for job production and job growth of all 50 states over a 22-year period of time. So what you really have to understand is that what you need to do is set your priorities and then work against those priorities on an ongoing basis, just as Mayor Pavia is doing that in his term as mayor. Now you ask, how do you pay for these things? We did some perhaps wrong things at times in our history of recent history of Connecticut. When we realized that we needed more money to spend on transportation to deal with 95, 91, 84, what did we do? We cut the revenue source for those dollars. We also then began the process of rating certain funds of monies that would have gone to support that transportation system. So part of what we really have to do is do a top-to-bottom review, benchmark, understand where we stand in the world with respect to our priorities, and then work on those priorities for a period of time, a period of years. Now, is this all made more difficult by the fact that we're currently looking at a large deficit and that we're struggling with the deepest recession of any of our lifetime? Absolutely. But this is the thing about Connecticut. We made the wrong investments when times were relatively good. Now we have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, what are we going to do to dig ourselves out of what a generation has done with respect to its management of the state? I want to make a break with the past. And part of that is going to be investing in the future. Now, you can take Mr. Foley's math and apply it, or you can understand that, for instance, in the latest round of Tiger grants, we got nothing in the state of Connecticut. Nothing. In fact, of the 20 projects that we submitted for Tiger grant consideration in Washington, only 5 of those projects were deemed to be acceptable, meeting the minimum standard to be considered. 5 out of 20. Or let's take another look. In the race to the top, monies, the federal government monies, billions and billions of dollars going to 41 different states. Connecticut is one of those states that has not been awarded race to the top. Some of the money is in Washington. We need to play a larger role in Washington. We may need to tighten our budget in other places. One of the things that I've said, and let me say it here, I should have said it in my immediate remarks. I am committed to downsizing Connecticut state government departments and agencies by 1/3. There are currently approximately 230 such agencies. And over the last 6 years, the number of agencies has grown significantly. I'll also point another statistic out to you. The 2 areas of growth in state government has been corrections and management. You can take departments in this state and go from the highest unionized or civil service position to the commissioner. So from the highest, so we're not including any of the civil service positions, to the commissioner, and find 7 different layers of administration. You could not survive in your business. The hospital could not survive in its business. Mayor Pavia could not do the job he's doing in his business if that was the case. So we're going to have to change how we do business as well to find those monies. Anyone else? Yes?
Hi. I liked what you said about having a standardized pre-K program. I've actually chosen to keep my 2 children in private school because the neighbor mentioned that the kindergarten class that she had put her son in, a lot of them didn't speak English. How can you standardize it without paying for it, and how can you pay for it with such a budget deficit?
Well, I want to point something out. A lot of the parents were complaining that your daughter didn't speak Spanish. I mean, I think we have to be realistic. We live in a very different world, and many people would see that as a strength, not as a weakness. But let me drill down on the issue of universal pre-K. You and I could afford pre-kindergarten experiences for our children. I'm assuming you could. Most middle class or above individuals can and do. They access it through their church, through not-for-profit provision, or even for-profit provision. But we have to acknowledge in this country that a significant, and in this state, that a significant number of children aren't receiving that pre-kindergarten learning experience. So let's just drill down to that personal experience. You send your daughter or son to a school, and 1/3 of the children have no previous learning experience. Don't know their letters, don't know their colors, never sat in a room taking direction. And 2/3 have that experience. And now let's assume that you're the teacher. Do you spend more time on the people who are ready to learn or more time on the people who haven't had that experience before? And before you answer it, understand that you should never be asked that question. Because 33 years ago, we accepted a national standard in the United States that every child would come to kindergarten ready to learn. In a state where we're aging more rapidly, our workforce is, we've got to do a better job in preparing that population to take our place. And you know what? A lot of people who take our place are going to have brown skin or tan skin or be of another culture or another religion. We've got to embrace that as one of the real strengths of Connecticut as opposed to run away from it. And I'm prepared to embrace it. Last question. Anybody? I should have stopped while I was ahead. Thank you very much.